talking about dreams and more about the weed cannabis industry. Okay.
Yeah, I remember you talking about how that's something you wanted to pursue, no? Like, I just remember that last time we were talking.
Alright. Yeah, so let's see here. Well, we're talking about cannabis. Just kind of talking about it as, you know, a true organic medicine and how we're all organic kind of organisms. And how it's funny that something that couldn't be more naturally derived is denied and labeled illegal. Kind of like our identities, kind of like certain social norms. Yeah. And it's just because they want control, and control is power, right? And because they're not getting a slice or like a certain amount of cabinet, they're basically essentially saying this is not valid. Because it needs to be going into our pockets or else it's not relevant. And this is like, you know, street delinquency, but now that it's been legitimized.
Okay, thank you.
And, thank you very much. I just want to look good behind the camera. You know.
Well, we're about to look like a mess.
No, you're good, you're good.
We're behind the camera.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll keep that going. But, you know, all the taxes from cannabis in the state go towards like rehabilitating addicts. And so that's something that I like let people know. It's like when you're buying weed, you're like investing in other people, you know, above and beyond yourself. Yeah.
Like every place does that?
Every place. That's like
so
a state
cool.
law.
Wow.
That the money has to go into rehabilitating addicts?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, I did not know
That's
that.
so
How come they don't
awesome.
openly advertise that more?
You know, because it might, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
Because
one of
when
those
we
things that's-
purchase cannabis in the stores, it's usually just the joint itself. Because we don't, you know, like how when you go to Nordstrom, you're taxed like 10% or whatever. We don't get taxed. So is it from?
No, you
that?
It is taxed. It's already factored in, and
okay,
it's not a
okay.
surprise. Because most of the time, like, I don't know what the trend is with retail, but they like to like tell you the price, and then you get to the counter, and then it's like, oh, just playing.
Right.
It's
right.
like
That's what
it
it
was
is.
150, but now it's 165,
Right.
and you're like, oh,
That's
that's
cool.
popping.
Mhm.
Right, exactly. So, and so there's every single aspect of it is like kind of reinvesting in humanity. I really feel like.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Well, you were
And-
talking about like you probably already said it, I just heard it, sorry.
No, you're good.
But about the pharmaceutical, right? So like, is it essentially like, you're saying the government, damn it, what were you saying about the government?
I think we were talking about how like people who travel from different states are
Get
really
uncomfortable.
like, they get uncomfortable because they're not used to being free. They're not used to being able to
Yes.
talk about it. And even request a certain, because when I talk to people, I'm like, so how do you want to feel today? You know, and they're like,
Oh my God,
they're like, what do
that's
you mean? And I'm just like, well, I mean, like, this is gonna psychologically alter you.
Yeah.
And what are we doing? And how do we want to go about it? Because it's all about matching it to the activity at hand or the intended outcome. Like if you want pain relief, or you're trying to de-stress, or you want a creative like inspiration, or maybe you want like an introspective, like reflective perspective. You know, it's like there's a strain for that, and I've had those experiences, and I can guide you.
Yeah.
And
What? I wish you were
Yeah.
selling to me.
I know we need to go there.
Honestly, yeah. Sorry,
I mean,
I always LT, we go to Greenward.
that's cool.
Because it's
Which is a
closer,
little
which is a
diagonal from
shitty
you.
experience.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
It's not a shitty experience. It's definitely a good
No, I mean, I'm
experience.
not
It's
saying it's a shit experience, but it's a shit excuse.
experience.
Yeah, you should come through. I work Saturday through Wednesday.
Saturday
And-
through Wednesday?
Yeah.
What time?
I work either 3:30 to close or 4 to close. So feel free to roll through.
That's cute.
Do you feel like when you ask these questions, that's a part of your personal experience, or is that what the herbal elements kind of?
I think it's like, I think it's also our kind of like just general style of business is that like we like to be informed and we like to really be specified as possible and make those recommendations through knowledge, experience, testimonies, and kind of an eclectic survey of all the above. Because it's not cannabis isn't about you, it's about everybody. And when I tell people constantly, we're like, oh, how, like I need something to like. Someone said the other day, like, I need something that's gonna like make my dreams come true, and it was just like, so what are your dreams? Like, I need to know those before I can. Oh no, like what is it? Well, I can't, you know. And also, we all have different body chemistry, so it's like something that might affect me a certain way might adversely or differently, you know, have effect on you. And so I can't speak for you. I can only tell you about me, and maybe if you tell me a little bit more about yourself, I can make a little better of assessment. Exactly. Yeah. And so I think I mean, especially for people I know a little bit better, I could definitely give more sound advice.
What's my strand?
For what?
Let's role play. We're walking.
Right. We're walking to. Oh, hello. Welcome to Urban Elms. Zachary.
Please no.
What's up?
Let's see. My strand. What I would want
is
I want to be able to like be in my element of creating, right?
Yeah.
So what that is like shameless vulnerability. That's like what I like to experience.
Okay.
Because it's definitely like but I usually weed makes me vulnerable regardless. But I want there's something I guess to take the the anxiety level, right? Because like there's an anxiousness around being vulnerable around people.
True.
I don't know if you guys experience that, but like.
It's
So I
life.
love it. I love it.
It's called live conversation. Yeah.
I love it when it's like literally like the vulnerable experience, but without the anxiousness. You know what I mean? Just like not being fun. I guess. I mean, it goes into just like being like effortlessly confident. Like I like when shit brings that out of me.
Yeah.
That makes sense? I mean, just
do.
empowers that part.
I
of
do.
me.
Yeah.
That's my strand.
So there's a couple that are coming to my mind.
Okay.
The first thing that shooting up is this strain we just got in. It's called Pine Queen Dream. Okay, and it's for me it's like a Pineapple Express like Blue Dream Cross, but it's really like paying homage to an elevated mood and like but also a stress relieved and kind of tension releasing experience. Because it kind of relaxes you enough to where you can be at ease and like think about one thing at a time, but you're stimulated, so you're focused, you're moving towards something, you're not just like debilitated and kind of like looking at the leaves and wondering why they're moving so softly.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And because that happens.
Yeah.
That totally happens.
It's like that just happened.
That's happening right now.
Right.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah, and
Pine
so
Queen Dream.
Pine Queen Dream, that would be my first recommendation. Also, if we wanted to kind of turn up the volume a little bit more, trim down for what? I would go with a. I'm thinking of like a Jack Herrera potentially. Just because that one's a little bit still kind of more on the citrus vibes. It's a little bit more like clean cut energy, and I feel like it could even rally you, like especially if you're feeling like, oh, I don't really know if I want to do this. Like you're going to, because there's no other option once you feel like true inspiration or like that rush of like your blood just starts pumping a little bit faster, and all of a sudden you're like, I need to put my energy towards something, and why not what's already on your mind, you know.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I don't know what you're gonna raise.
And also everything that I suggest is pesticide free, grown very ethically, and it's all about like the grow. I always say like a healthy grow, a healthy high, and because I feel like it's all correlating. If something is tainted or isn't like organic 100%, then it could produce a non-organic outcome, regardless of like the effects like outside just of the genetic strain, you know.
Okay. I like that. So you're like conscious of weed in the aspect of like it purely being like beneficial like to your body and your mind.
Yeah.
So because you don't consume it, because you know how people consume it for the high.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I mean that's right. You would say like you consume it for the purpose of like being more sound in body and mind and shit.
Yeah. There's only like it's like I mean, and for me, you know, I've been doing a lot more. For a long time, I had like a chronic use kind of situation that was going on. And I kind of reevaluated myself this summer and was like, you know, I want it to be meaningful and I want it to have like a higher purpose, because it kind of lost that because it was just like this everyday merry way of living. But it wasn't so merry because there was I could tell there was a lack of dedication to things, and it was coming before like some of my dreams and some of my wants, and that shouldn't be happening if you really prioritize. And so I basically was like, when this happens, it needs to be purely out of like, I want to be like put at rest. I want to be inspired, you know, in a way that I haven't been because I've been experiencing another perspective for a while. And it's like when you take a break and you come back, boy, like I'm fucked up. And the shit is like, but it's also like you're really feeling the full effects of it too, because you're not just like acclimated to an everyday use. And it's like like one puff I'm like lit like all day, you know, and it's like I mean a gram will last me like, you know, like a fucking month and a half, 2 months, you know, and it's like, and I'm kind of coming to a point where it's like I don't want to have to need it. I just want to have it as a kind of a tool of celebration, like where I'm really getting it. It's like, okay, like roll up a little something and like have a moment of victory, and then like, okay, what's next? Where are we going? How are we
I
going about
love
this?
that. I mean, honestly, you just made my
like,
high better. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Because like definitely, I feel like I relate with that because we have a thing where we would smoke it every day, right?
Yeah.
And then we started to like, for me, I feel like it puts me in a vulnerable state, right?
Of course.
Which going every day into that with the assumption that I'm able to be in that vulnerable place is very arrogant, and it's also very like just ignorant to me, because it's like you're not in that space every day, you know what I mean? Like you're in a different statehood like every single day. But yeah, I mean, I relate in the sense that like, so we've been cutting back, or I've been cutting back, right? And so like in the moments that I do smoke, it's because I know I have an intention behind it, and it's just like so much better of an experience. So that was like got me hyped up. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anything to give it a deeper meaning.
Yeah. So you're like you're just like creating a ritual around it. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, because it's just like and it also like I kind of just looking at the people I'm around and seeing how they consume it. It's just like, wow, yo. And I feel like they put a lot of their intentions and dreams on the shelves for it. And that's something that I'm not willing to sacrifice. Like priority one. And it's kind of like, and it was funny, so I took a break initially when I went to Hawaii to go see my family, and I had all this like internal crazy growing, healing, breaking down, kind of building back up kind of situation. And when I got back, I hit some CBD weed, like something that had like 0.5% THC, and it literally was like, I thought it was like on fucking acid, like my body was melting and reforming, like one of the most psychedelic experiences I've had. And in that moment, I was kind of like, I asked myself, I was like, so what would you sacrifice for your dreams? And I was like, everything, you know? And so the question I had to ask myself is, well, why aren't you? Why is anything coming before your personal success? And I didn't have an answer for myself other than this is what I'm doing tomorrow morning, you know? And so that was another huge motivating factor, was just that if I feel like when things are in balance and when things are really prioritized correctly, it's like, it's like you can all you need is yourself. It's all here. You just keep digging deeper and deeper, and you'll find revelations and moments of clarity that you've never even dreamed of, you know? And it's kind of been like crazy, because it's like I'll even surprise myself, where I'll sit down and I'll think I'm going to do something else, and then I'll get an inspiration and it'll just come out of me out of nowhere, you know? And like that used to not happen, because I would have this routine where I'd like come home, I'd smoke weed, and then I'd be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and I might like fall astray or like pass out before I was gonna brush my teeth, like simple things that are like really important self-maintenance shit. And I just realized there was a lack of self-care and self-awareness. But at the same time, I was just like, yeah, I really want to get it. If it's like if I want to be like an internationally competitive model, like who am I kidding myself? Like I need to fucking just put it all on the line.
You gotta act big, right? If you have a big dream, you have to act big.
Right.
Like, yeah, definitely. We're like confronting a lot of this shit of like because we want to be like an empire. You know?
Yeah.
We want to be.
Who says you're not gonna? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So I mean, like
We
we have to take.
We are.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. You are an empire. You are an empire. Yeah.
I mean, we have to like act and think big. And it's very much like.
And that honestly makes me so uncomfortable because I'm not. Well, yeah, I like to show off to some degree, but like, I don't know. For right now, it is coming from a place of fear because I don't know. I don't know our potential, and that's scary because I know that it's big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I just gotta realize it, and it's just weird.
Yeah.
For now.
We're just like.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you we're gonna be big.
Yeah.
No, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm convinced.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
it's
came to this
understandable.
world to change it. So
There you
like
go.
that's just literally my one thing that I'm like, I know that anything that I'm going to experience in my life, it's gonna be to change the world. So like, that's it. That's the end of the story. You know what I mean? And it's just like this is my journey, my process.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's super nice to hear that you express like that this is everything. Your dream is the one that you makes me more proud that we like get to work and honored that we get to work with you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
sharing that time with us.
Of course. Well, it's like I know I've on the way. It's like, I feel like y'all have always been here, and also helped me realize my own potential through being like, oh my God, like please walk for me, blah blah blah, and it's like that kind of situation helps me realize like, okay, well I should be walking more often. I should be more bold about knowing my potential and like value. And that's another thing, it's just like knowing your own value and being bold and kind of unapologetic about it and just like, yeah, I'm here. So
Cute.
and
I mean, welcome to the queer world. You know what I mean? We have no choice but to put ourselves out there.
Have to be bold.
right,
Because bitch, you can't hide. You know
You
what I mean?
can't,
Like
you
you
can't.
cannot hide. So that's why it's like one here taking us like, oh shit.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
cool.
It's empowering. It's good, and it's like, yeah, it really helps me be courageous kind of
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah.
and anything for self-empowerment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, every time I feel like you're in our feed or anything involved with us, you're definitely empowering our brand for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, like I love it. I feel like it's elevated. I mean, I'm always gonna be a fan of your face and your heart. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I just love having a present in Boyhood.
Yeah.
Humbled by that. Likewise.
Even when I first met you, I remember telling them, I was like, yeah, he was just so nice. Such a good spirit, good energy. Like, that's way more important than a good face. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, thank you.
It helps though. You know
yeah,
what I
it
mean?
totally
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Right. I definitely want to be a good face too. I definitely want to be a good face too. Let's not get that twisted.
But no, it's so nice, so refreshing. Like, I love that. Yeah. And plus, people who are really into their dreams, that's what we're trying to do. Everyone who have like a strong dream come together, push each other up. So yeah, it's inspiring.
Cultivate the energy together.
Mhm,
Exactly.
Yeah, like grow together and not against each other.
Bro, and it's like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like I've had to ask myself a lot because I've had friends and people hit me up who are kind of from my past life, as I like to say, kind of a different lifestyle or wasn't prioritizing as much, and they're like, oh, let's hang out, let's do this, and it's like I'm getting better at being able to word it as like, it's not about like, I don't really kick it, I don't really do that anymore. Everybody who I'm in contact with, I'm collaborating with, I'm building something with, and that's it. And by kind of only being around that, that's what you end up producing when you're by yourself too, because it's just like, that's the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have moments where you're like, I'm gonna read a book or I'm gonna watch some anime or something like that. But there's always an intention with, I'm taking something away to sew it into the fabric of my life kind of situation. And yeah, but it's just funny, and when people like have this impression of what they thought you were, or kind of build expectations of what they thought you could do, and they're like, yeah, like, what have you been up to? And it's just like, making my dreams come true.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing
Like-
more to say than that. Like, it's like I mean, obviously you'll read my book later. You know what I mean? But like right now,
You have to link below, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but like, you don't know what to say. You don't know what
Right,
to say. 'Cause,
right.
Like people are like, so what's new? And it's
I
like,
know.
honestly, bitch, watch my documentary.
Right.
Because it's like there's so much
Filming
happening.
right now.
Yeah.
Filming right now.
Yeah,
Every day is a
exactly.
new life. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so tight. Yeah. We're on that level.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like to
Yeah.
restructure my mentality to that now.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And essentially, that's like what we're doing every time that we're working with someone. Like, we're making it a commitment to like create something together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, I'll do things where like, every night before I go to bed, I'll like make a list of things I'm going to do tomorrow, and I'll kind of reflect on that and meditate on it and be like, I'm ready to manifest this. And sometimes I don't always get everything done because a lot of times I'm way more ambitious. I'm like, that was like a list for this fucking week, Zach. But like, it's still putting it in your mind and knowing, because like, I'll definitely say that the right timing for things is very important. And sometimes rushing things can make it take longer in the long run.
Right, that's true.
And so it's like important to be patient and also know that, okay, like I don't want to like do this incorrectly, but at the same time, it's like when the time comes, you'll be ready because you've been looking forward to it and you've had it on your mind and on your heart all week, and then it's just like this relentlessness that builds up. And then when there is an opportunity, it's just like bang, bang, bang. And then sometimes it's like some days you did more than you even planned to do. And you're just like, wow.
Yeah. And that day you're just like, well, fuck, give me ice cream.
Right, right.
I love those days where you feel like you just won. And you're like, I mean, we did shit.
We did shit. Yeah.
So, I have to pee.
That's cool. When
Go
nature
pee.
calls, answer that call.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a part of the morning process after the
I
process.
know, yeah.
We're recording, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
We've
okay.
been recording for the last
You're like, just like a
20,
joy.
I have 20 minutes of audio right now.
Oh, what's up?
Oh, that's not bad. Okay, cool. Usually we do like 2 hours.
Oh my
Right.
gosh. That's cool.
Always, yeah. We're like, well, we're an hour, guys. Okay, let's end it, and then we go into another conversation. Always.
We can't stop the spontaneity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The conversation's that good, so.
Yeah. Did you see our vision?
I didn't actually. Let me check it out.
Oh, we also have some, if you want to refill your flask.
Okay, excellent.
I brought it, right?
Hmm?
Wow. 40 mil, okay. Here. Are these like checks for something?
Yeah. So we want 10,000 a month to come in.
Okay.
We're dreaming big.
I love that. These are really good inspirations.
Yeah.
Paris, Tokyo, and I want to go all those places. Belgium.
Oh yeah. Did you share? About
Yeah, I was just letting him take it in before.
Yeah, like
Love
what?
this.
What are your like practices to keep your dreams going? Like, what do you do to keep yourself going?
Okay.
Constant. Besides the lists and just constant like research and development, and I feel like if you're really hungry for something, then you're always like, when the next step comes, you take it kind of situation. And so it's like I've been really like focusing on how I can like tag the right brands and like what to hashtag, and just been studying different models, and really just there's this one cat Steak who's like a part of my agency, and he always he tags like 17 brands every time, and I'm like, why am I not doing that? And so now I have a list of 7 different agencies that I'm targeting, and then I have a list of 12 different brands every time that I'm just like me.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely and then I even was like, okay, so, and then like specifically H&M is one that I'm just really trying to like fuck up. And although I have mixed feelings about their political views, but that doesn't necessarily mean I can't go in there and implement something or change it.
Yeah, that's true.
Why H&M?
Just because they're super international, and I love their look, and they work with a lot of other like high-end designers, and they're kind of a part of this umbrella of like ownership from like they're owned by the same people who own like YSL and the same people who own Zara, and like it's just this whole kind of like house of different investors who are like we like what they let the creative teams be different, but they fund every single one. And so it's like you get connected to one, you work for all of them. And there's a couple like European models in specific that I noticed at the moment they started modeling for H&M, they started doing, you know, like Prada and Gucci and YSL and all these other brands that I'm really trying to fuck with, Balenciaga, whatever. And so, you know, yeah, just really like, you know, putting that out there consistently and then observing people like their campaigns and then being like, okay, so how can I, and it was even talking to one of my coworkers about, here, I'm gonna move over here because I don't think the microphone's getting anything I say. But anyway, I was like talking to one of my coworkers and she was asking me, she's like, so do you practice your faces in the mirror? And I was like, no, I don't like to do that because I like to be genuine behind the camera. And then she was kind of like, she's kind of challenged me and was just like, well, but like if you practice in the mirror, then you could just like whip it out. And you know there wouldn't be any time for it to fall into it. You would just have it. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I should do that.
Yeah.
And so like last night I was like practicing different looks in the mirror, and I like literally was like, oh, it's like, you know, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like I just got caught in it and had such a good time. And it's like I can pair that with me. I can listen to like a new mix and like throw on an outfit and just like go off. And like no one's taking pictures, but you're just getting lost in your own movements and expressions kind of situation. And like it's just like getting to know your craft, people, and like talking about it more, and then like all these little like nuggets of gold kind of get tossed to you, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna put this in my pot. And it just becomes a collection of different things that help you build. And like I just noticed the more I prioritize, the more that people notice, and then they'll reach out, and then it's just like this cultivation. And it's like there's a point where it's like I feel like, okay, so you know, every kind of thought that you have is like an electrical signal in your brain. And I really feel like if you are seriously meditating on something, there's a law of attraction. And so inadvertently, you're gonna attract people who are like gonna help you and like help, and all of a sudden it's also like believe your dream, fund your dream. And so there's a point where I feel that if you think and believe something strongly enough, that it's gonna happen, you know. And so that's why I'm just like obsessed, you know, with it, and really trying to be like priority. And it's like, it's funny because like, you know, there's a lot of people who are like, you know, when I see them, they're like, oh, so like, who you been kicking with, who you dating? And I'm like, I'm dating my dreams right now, you know. It's like, I mean, you know, not to say that like, you know, romance isn't like, you know, I would ever run away from it, but like I feel like love finds you pursuing love, you know. And anything else, like if you have to like jump out of your way, like throw yourself on the street for it, well then that's not real, I don't think. And I think it should be effortless, just like you achieving something, you know, and like you being yourself in your natural form, and then that form kind of comes kind of situation. And because like there are times, well, you know, I'm like working at night and I'm just like, fuck, dude, like I'm out here solo style, and then I'm just like, you know what, like, but like that's how I gotta be, and it's like I'll be stronger for it in the long run, and I'll have that much more to share, you know. And it's like important to it's like being vulnerable is part of like being a human, you know, and like it's okay to not feel like 100 all the time, because then you can translate that. That's like a tool. Yeah. That's like fuel. And
that's like the way that we connect to like more than just one person, right? Like that's how you relate to people. It's like the human experience. It's meant to be emotional, so we can like sympathize and like understand.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Does that make you like love yourself?
Exactly.
In those moments of like being alone, or like where you feel
enjoying
like,
your own company.
Right.
100%. And there was like, you know, some elements from my last relationship where I felt like there were parts of myself that I deemed kind of unlovable. And like I'm rediscovering those parts of your heart like on an individual basis, and really nurturing them and helping them be a part of your everyday lifestyle. And knowing that if someone doesn't recognize that, you are just already just like, whoop, swerve, I'm out, you know, and not tolerating anything else. And really just like, again, not just being you and knowing that that's going to attract the right people kind of situation. And not worrying about stupid bullshit like Tinder and all that kind of thing. And just like, I don't know, I just like, maybe I'm old school, but I just kind of feel like it's just like,
Connection is important.
Yeah. It's key.
I mean,
Super
Tinder
key.
has to be set forward with an intention.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And an intention that already is divisive. I mean, in my opinion, although we met on Tinder.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
I just like to say that Tinder gave us the opportunity to bring us together. What brought us together was
crazy.
us opening up our hearts.
Yeah.
But, you know, we had
How-
some help.
How long ago was that? Out of curiosity.
It's like 3 months, or 3 months, 3 years.
Oh, I was like, what?
It's three years last month.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 years.
Yeah.
Our anniversary is always like on Pride, right?
The 23rd, 24th.
Yeah.
25th, so yeah.
But I think in the I feel like how everything, like how it worked out for me was like, I don't know, I wasn't open to it, right? Like I wasn't open to a relationship. Like I was just honestly getting my fulfillment. Because at the time I was very much indulging myself and like listening to myself, making my life art, you know what I mean? Like understanding what in your art, right? Because like, to me, like your art is essentially like understanding how you want to express and explore your life and your experiences and what you want to create around it, you know what I mean? Like that's how you're living by your art, is because you're living more true to that, and so what comes out of that is artistic, you know, naturally. But like I feel like, so what I was doing at that time was I was investing in that, and then like I met him, and I think what our relationship, like the reason why it continues to grow is because we are growth minded and we're open. And we acknowledge that we have faults, but they don't define us. You know what I mean? And we're like, I don't know. I feel like I'm learning more and more every year, and I'm also learning to love those parts. And like, I feel like people love. I'm gonna go off, but I feel like people love like out of a need, right? Like out of a need, out of validation, out of fulfillment, right? And like that happens, and I get it. Like, I come from a home demographic where it's like you feel that you're taught that you need people to be okay. You're taught that you need to be in love with someone to be okay. And like learning and unpacking all that shit, you know what I mean? And then when you love someone, you're connecting on a different level because you're understanding as an individual. And I don't know, they intertwine sometimes because you know we're growing.
Back to what you were saying before, like that need to like want or have somebody with you. Like when I'm around that time, I was like 23. I just graduated college, and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to find a partner. So I'm gonna go, you know. And like months prior, you know, I had the process with other individuals, and then I met him. And so I basically spoke it into existence. What I'm saying, but then through the process too of being with him, I really learned to love myself. And I really didn't think I was loving myself before, because I was doing shit that, I mean, yeah, it was like attention seeking basically. It was like, I wanted people to be around me at all times, so what do I have to do? I have to act this way, you know, I have to do these things. But now it's like, I don't really want to do those things. I want to do what I want to do. So,
It's like learning and loving and allowing the space. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, a relationship is a choice. So what you choose to stay in it, and I'm always going for knowing like it's a choice. Any moment he can choose to go on to a different part of his life. I don't live in that, right? Because I don't assume that that's gonna happen. But I know for myself, like this is like the stream of life and it's natural. So I always gotta make sure to listen to my voice, right? So that way I'm giving myself the love and the nurturing that I need to. I get like super emotional when I think about
That's good. We're created for. No, and it's like, relationships take effort. They take self-sacrifice. And it's like, if you're not ready to totally, like, put that on the table, then it's like, you're not gonna, that's what's gonna determine how successful you are. Really. Because it's like, it's also caring about someone kind of more than yourself. Because, like, if you are going, it's like a family, you're one with them. And so it's just like, body, mind, spirit combination. Shit. Okay.
And that's like, I think it's like it's resound. It's like it goes past just like an intimate relationship.
Right.
Like every relationship has a connection, has levels. There's no limit as to like what type of relationship you're gonna create with someone. That's why I feel like I always end up creating like really close bonds with people on different levels. Because like I realize like our relationships can go to new states and new heights. So that's it.
Elevated.
Yeah, well, they're really inspiring, so. Yeah, I mean, I've never, like, met a couple like them. So, and whenever I would, like, talk about them, I'd be like, oh my god, but them together is just, like, the sweetest thing. Like, yeah, I was like, nothing is better than them. So, yeah, I always tell them.
Super cute.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
Yeah, we're just a couple homies.
There's homies working hard, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's right.
But fun along the way.
Yeah, of course.
They're always having fun. Yeah.
Well, work
So,
can
yeah.
be play if you think about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
if you're not playing, then it's like you kind of lost sight of what brought you to, your passions, because you enjoy them.
Yeah.
So if you're not enjoying yourself, like, man, you die quicker. That's for sure. Fall over or something. So just like loosen up a little bit and not take yourself too seriously.
Exactly.
But be ready to, put it all on the line too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Risk.
Risk.
Yeah,
What's life without risk?
Love us.
Too safe.
Yeah.
Too safe.
Yeah. Love.
Yeah, speaking of play, can we play with taking some photos?
Yes. Snap. Let's do it. For
Yeah.
sure. And that was the concluding to the episode of Boyhood.